And Clark. I mean, that's clear, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy Carter and Clark.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Speechless. I'm your host, Kev Ferris, 23-year-old conservative activist, host of Speechless, the radio show, and right here on wherever you're watching from, whether that's YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Rumble, Facebook, any of that fun stuff. But make sure, wherever you are watching from, that you don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends, all that fun stuff. But we have so much to talk about today, including Kennedy Carter. Kennedy Carter is apparently what some people call her, but it's spelled Kennedy. Kennedy Carter, one of, apparently she plays in some basketball league for women, played against Caitlin Clark, the one and only, who we all know and love. And there was some personal stuff going on there, and it's quite fascinating. It's quite the cat fight. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We also have Pride Month. It is the gayest month of the year, everybody. I am ready to talk about it. Are you? Because we once again have a full month that's dedicated simply to people who just like having sex with certain types of people. Fascinating that that's something that we celebrate. But we're going to talk about that as well as the Trump outbreak. Really, everybody is loving Trump. Trump is the new COVID. Everybody seems to be right on his bandwagon, except for the few people that still have the TDS, the Trump derangement syndrome. They still have it. They've had it for quite a while, and they're just not on the Trump train yet, but they will be, everybody. They will be. And we're going to talk about everything that has happened since Trump's conviction. We're going to talk a little bit about Trump's conviction. And once again, to make sure you guys are all part of the conversation, do not forget to comment. I am live right now. This show is live. I can bring your comments onto screen, and we can talk about so many different things. So make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends, because we are always here on Speechless on Sundays at around 5-ish p.m. Central Standard Time. And I can bring, like I said, your comments right on the screen, have you part of the show. But let's talk about this, okay? So we have Kennedy Carter from the WNBA and does this absolutely ridiculous personal foul against Caitlin Clark. Let's take a look and a listen one more time to this foul that we touched on at the beginning. Take a look right here.
And Clark.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's clear, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy Carter and Clark.
One more time. That's crazy.
I mean, that's clear, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary?
That's absolutely insane. What is going on with the women's basketball league? It's a basketball league just for women. I still kind of can't believe that's a real thing, everybody. Basketball league just for women. Who would have thought? But so this foul is absolutely insane. I mean, it's obvious. She just kind of like, you can watch her mouth when she's going up on this right here. You can see it from this angle.
Which was called. The question is, will they call it?
If you look at what might seem like she's mouthing, it is not a positive word. It rhymes with witch, and it's something people usually oftentimes use to describe unlikable women. Take a look one more time right here. You can see it. You can see it.
Question is, will they call it?
And then she just fouls her. It's insane. And so, in fact, the WNBA upgraded this foul on star Caitlin Clark to flagrant one violation, which whatever that means. But out of the Daily Wire, the WNBA has upgraded a foul on Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark, who was knocked to the hardwood by Chicago Sky player Kennedy Carter during a game on Saturday. Footage of the incident has gone viral and drawn a great deal of controversy, which is why we are talking about it now. It's one of the only reasons people really talk about the WNBA. A review of the away from the ball common foul led to it being evaluated to a flagrant or elevated to a flagrant one violation, the league told ESPN on Sunday, though Carter will not be fined or suspended for the infraction. According to WNBA rules, a flagrant one is assessed if contact committed against a player with or without the ball is interpreted to be unnecessary. Carter knocked Clark, who was the number one pick in the WNBA draft this year, to the floor in the third quarter. Carter then walked away as a Fever teammate walked over and helped Clark back up to her feet. The shove and subsequent foul drew millions of views on social media as well as criticism. And then, okay, this is hating on Caitlin Clark, former Washington Redskins quarterback Robert Griffin III said on X. Face guarding, extremely aggressive play, and the occasional hard foul can be described as competitiveness, he added, going out of her way to call her out and of her name, call her out by name and body check her to the floor without the ball is hating. So a lot of people, there are some people that are coming to Chicago Sky player Shenedy Carter, her defense, saying that this is just competitiveness. But RG3 is absolutely right. This is not just competitiveness. It's a lot more than that. In fact, there was even a lot of questions regarding this, this during the post-game interview. I don't think yeah, you can see right here, we can pull up Caitlin Clark's portion of this and take a look and a listen to the post-game interview right here, in which Caitlin Clark addresses some of this. Oop, it seems as though my screen had, it will not share the audio. So let me fix that real quick. And I can make sure I get it back up on screen. So everybody, we can take a look and listen to exactly what Caitlin Clark had to say about this foul right post-game against the Sky just yesterday.
I don't know what happened. Okay.
Let's go
I
back
didn't hear anything. Excited about where it's going.
right here.
Question for you, Caitlin. That little push, I think, in the fourth quarter where Angel Reese, did she say something to you? I don't know what happened. Okay.
I didn't hear anything.
All right.
It was
Cool.
all my
Thank
girl today. Man.
Questions for Caitlin. You backed down Dana Evans in the fourth, and I just want to know how much is in your offensive bag. And then second, should we
Not much.
should we look forward to you using moves in the paint such as that?
Yeah, I think I probably could have actually got my feet in the paint a little bit more tonight. 9 of my shots came from 3 and got a little cold there in the second half after starting off pretty hot. So that'll happen. But, that layup that came at a good time for us. We kind of needed a basket and was able to finish around the rim. So I think the more I can get my feet in the paint and at times, sometimes I get a little caught a little too deep in the paint, maybe, get a little floater going a little more. Or, probing a little bit more to find shooters because everybody's collapsing when I drive into the paint. So, my first reaction is to always pass once I get in there. So just trying to find our post player or people spotting up on the perimeter.
Caitlin, first win in this building. How did it feel?
It was good. It was great.
So there's a few other, there's more questions and they talk more about the basketball of it, of course. But I think it's really interesting to look at this because when have we ever talked as a society? Look, I'll make my jokes about women's basketball. Of course, I know that there's a women's National Basketball League, WNBA. And I've known it's existed. It's been the brunt of a joke constantly as they consistently beg for better pay, despite the fact that their ratings are so much lower. But recently people have paid attention because of Caitlin Clark. She's the all-American girl. And no, it's not just, it's not at all really because she's white or that she's straight or anything like that. No, it's because she seems like a good person, because she doesn't seem entitled. She doesn't seem to believe that she deserves her national recognition, her achievement. She seems humble. She's a good Midwestern girl from Iowa. That's it. And that's likable. She is likable. You want to know what's not likable? People who I had never heard of before this, Shenedy Carter, Shenedy Kennedy, whatever her name is, who come out. And then even once she is given a lot of crap on social media for this flagrant violation, she comes out and she says things like this on I think this is Threads, which is that Instagram, Twitter knockoff that I don't use. She said, and that's on, I can't always translate Ebonics, but, and that's that on that. I don't know what that means. And that's that on that. Because beside 3-point shooting, what does she bring to the table, man? So Shenedy Carter is throwing out some fascinating kind of looks and tips here on her opinions on Caitlin Clark. Which, once again, even though you don't think that she brings anything else to the table, you want to know what she brings to the table? And look, I have a buddy, John Root, who posted about this. I'm going to pull up his tweet here in a moment because I think it's interesting. But you want to know what she brings to the table, Shenedy? She brings to the table the fact that no one would be talking about you. No one would know your name. No one would give any kind of crap about you. if if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark. That's exactly, you want to know what she brings to the table? She brings fans. And you doing this, you're just becoming the antagonist in the narrative. So take a look. This is what John Root said. You know what she brings to the table? The ability for you to make more money and fly charter, the chance for the WNBA to make a profit for the first time, relevancy for the league on the national scale, ticket sales, jersey sales, court vision, range. Once again, don't hate on Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is the best thing to happen to women's basketball since it became a thing, since Title IX. I'll say that in full without the issue of my inability to just come up with everything as easily on the fly. Caitlin Clark is the best thing for women's basketball since Title IX. And that's an absolute fact. Because now people are actually watching. Now, maybe it's still not. Actually, it could be more than the NBA. A lot of people stopped watching the NBA. But it could be maybe not as much as college basketball. But it is still viewers. Viewers that were never there before. And maybe, sure, they start watching for Caitlin Clark. But if you show that you can put up a good game and that it's interesting to watch, Shenedy, maybe people will just start buying your jersey too. Maybe. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Is Caitlin Clark not a good thing for women's basketball? Do you guys think women's basketball is trash like the Ryan Mack show? Who knows? Let me know in the comments because I'm interested to hear what each and every one of you guys has to say. Keep those comments coming, everybody. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends. And if you're watching on Twitter right now, make sure you reshare it so that more people see it. Reshare it with something that's trending, something we're talking about, so that we can get more and more people to watch this and see what we're talking about here. But up next, we're going to talk a little bit about Pride Month. June, the month of June. If you guys know anything about me, you know that discussing the Legibutica people, the Alphabet Mafia, the snow cone colored hair mother effers, those are the people that I really enjoy just discussing. I think it's just a really enjoyable conversation because it just is so, it just demonstrates a lot about the way that society is heading. But first, I want to give a quick shout out to one of my sponsors. Take a look and listen and see about Freedom 2.0. You know, the other day I start getting breakouts, right? Sometimes I get some zits, especially when it gets more humid. I mean, more sweat and stuff clogs up the pores. I know that sounds gross. But I was talking to my girlfriend. My girlfriend does like no skincare. Men don't usually know much about skincare. And if they do, they might fall into the category of the people that we're about to talk about in this next. But some of them should, I will admit. Like, I mean, having good skin is not only healthy, but it also looks good. And so I asked my girlfriend, I go, why is it I keep breaking out? Like, and I don't want to look ugly. I don't want to break out. How can I look better? How can I avoid these breakouts? And she goes, you know what you should do? You should drink more water. How much water do you drink? And I was like, not as much as I should. And I hear that from a lot of people. They don't drink as much water as they should. So everybody should go check out Freedom 2.0. Because Freedom 2.0 is a way to get your water and also support a good cause. You're not supporting like, I don't know, like Woke Dasani or Aquafina or anything like that. There's no fluoride in this. And many say that fluoride could make the frogs gay. So why put all that into your body? Why not just drink some Freedom 2.0 that uses reverse osmosis to make some of the best water, the most free water that I've ever had. So you should go check out Freedom 2.0. Use code USA at checkout. Maybe it's Breakaway at checkout. Try either Breakaway or USA at checkout and get 15% off. Go check that out on Freedom 2.0. But we got so much more here to talk about, everybody. We're going to talk about, it is June 2nd, which if you know anything about my show, it means that it is the start of the biggest month of pandering in the entire world. This month has so much pandering clumped into it. It beats out the Asian Pacific Islander month, the entire holiday of Kwanzaa, everything the Democrat Party does on the floor of Congress, and February is Black History Month rolled into one. It is more pandering than all of that. There is so much pandering in this month that you might faint with how much pandering this is. I have gone so far as to call it the month of homo-pandering. Because it's just all these people. It's funny because of how comically sexual it really is. I mean, it's literally just the DEI crowd sucking each other off just as much as all the people that celebrate this month. Pride Month. That's what it is. And while I'll make jokes and we'll talk a lot about it, it really is, in some ways, something to have a worry about, because of the different ways it infects itself into society. And we're going to talk about all of those, but we're going to start off with just talking about how it's made its way into every sector of society. So let's go through some of the top ways in which homo-pandering has been getting its claws into our society. So let's start off with of course, we're going to start off with an obvious one here. An obvious one is President Joseph Robinette Biden celebrating Pride Month. For generations, LGBTQI plus Americans have summoned the courage to live proudly, even when it means putting their lives at risk. This Pride Month, we recommit to realizing the promise of America for all to celebrate LGBTQI plus people. So obviously, of course, now it's Happy Pride Month. It's Happy Pride Month from the White House, and they're going to say this. And this is obviously coming off of last year. We'll see what Biden might do, because last year he had his whole Pride party that included a transgender individual taking off his top to show off his prosthetic breasts. And so we'll see if that happens again. One thing I did want to pull up, I didn't even bring it up into my plan for the show, but I do want to I do want to see if I could find it real quick, of Joe Biden, because Joe Biden's been in office for quite a long time. And to the point of which, if you go back, things that are now socially acceptable to the Democrats and the radical left were not at one point. In fact, were against a lot of things that the Democrats of today are. So I want to bring up some different clips that I can just think of off the top of my head, because I want to prove to you. I want to prove to you that I'm not just making this crap up, that this actually exists. So let's take a look at this clip. This is Joe Biden on Meet the Press back in 2006. We're not even talking about when he started his tenure in the Senate so long ago. No, we're talking about back like less than 20 years ago. This is Joe Biden on Meet the Press. Take a look and a listen.
We already have a law, the Defense of Marriage Act, where we've all voted, not where I voted and others said, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that. Nobody's violated that law. There's been no challenge to that law. Why do we need a constitutional amendment? Marriage is between a man and a woman. What's the game going on here?
Man,
The president.
I agree with this a lot. Listen to that one more time.
That. Nobody's violated that law. There's been no challenge to that law. Why do we need a constitutional amendment? Marriage is between a man and a woman. What's the game going on here?
Yeah. What's the game going on here? I have the same question, Joe, because now we fast forward to yesterday. We go here. Let's look at, now it's for generations. LGBTQI plus Americans have summoned the courage. See, and that's the thing, is he says for generations. Generations of which at one point you were pro-traditional marriage. Now it's about the woke. This is the hypocrisy of Joe Biden as a president for the Democrats. It's what makes no sense, is how can any Democrat support him? Why are they not calling this out? That's my issue with. Look, I have my own personal qualms with the entire idea of LGBT people. And we'll get to that in this show, if not even in this show. Then we got a whole month, everybody. We got a whole month to talk about it. But I even take that out. Take that out. Take my qualm with that out, and just recognize the idea that, hey, all these Democrats that are super pro genital mutilation, they're pro have sex with a lamp if you want to. Some of them are even like pro kid diddling. They don't have a problem with their presidential candidate, their current president, and their current nominee. They don't have a problem with him being like so blatantly a hypocrite. There's no problem with that. Like they don't even call it out. I call out Trump when I think he's a hypocrite on things. I do. And if you don't think I do, let me know in the comments. Let me know how I'm being a hypocrite. But no, I call out Trump when I think he's done bad things and when he does things that I disagree with. That's one thing, is he came out, he's pro-gay marriage. I am not. Because I think gay marriage in and of itself is hypocritical. Marriage is between a man and a woman. Marriage is a biblical term. So to have it be gay is not even in and of itself marriage. So I'm against Trump on that. I disagree with him. Why is it that none of the left comes out and calls out Joe Biden? Or at least if they do, it doesn't make any headlines. No one talks about it. The lamestream media doesn't cover it the way I do. But that's the president. Of course, that one's pretty expected to be pro-gay. Let's talk about some of the other homo-pandering we have here. We have other parts of the government. We have the Department of Defense that has come out. So our Department of Defense, which is supposed to be about, like, I don't know, defending our country and keeping an eye on like terror threats and everything like that. I don't know why this won't go away. Here we go. Pride Month is a time to come together to honor the contributions of LGBT Plus service members. We are committed to ensuring and promoting an atmosphere of dignity and respect for all civilians and military personnel. If that's what we're focusing on our military, Lord help us. Lord help us. Defund that. I don't want to necessarily defund the military, but I will want to if that's what we're focusing on in it. Just saying. Just saying. But that's that one. Then we even get to actually, I have one more government one I wanted to pull up. This was not in the original article that I pulled up, but I wanted to bring up this one as an honorable mention because this is my own state, Illinois, and we have literally the largest person to ever hold office ever. Governor J.B. Pritzker posted this to his ex yesterday to pander to the LGBT community. He says, Illinois is proud to fly the pride flag, which ironically sounds kind of redundant. Proud to fly the pride flag above the state capitol. Again, we are sending a message to our LGBT community that you are welcome here. You are celebrated here. You are protected here. You are loved here, and you are accepted just as you are here. We're flying that up. I will give credit that this flag is below both the Illinois and the American flag. At least he's not flying it at the same height like Joe Biden does at the White House. But other than that, this is kind of a disgrace. Not even kind of. This is a disgrace. Because whenever has J.B. Pritzker put up, I don't know, a pro-Christian flag? Or a a pro-life flag or any flag that represents, I don't know, maybe a pro-white flag. Any flag that, or a pro-straight flag. Let's even go into a direct opposite. We don't even need to necessarily go into Christian or anything like that. Let's just go a pro-straight flag. Or told me as a straight white guy, a straight white Christian conservative male, when have I ever been told by my state that I'm accepted here? And that I'm celebrated? In fact, I've been told practically the opposite by J.B. Pritzker, because in multiple tweets, he's called Trump and his supporters racists, homophobes, sexists, all the isms under the sun. That's what J.B. Pritzker does. So, yeah, if you like having sex with other men or women or mutilating yourself, because you believe something that is not, that you're a gender that you weren't born as, then you're welcome, you're celebrated, you're protected. But like if you're like a normal person and just average, not welcome, not celebrated, not protected, definitely not protected, not loved, and not accepted just as I am. And that's just the way it is in Illinois. But then we get out of just government. Not only government is perpetuating this stuff. Government is my biggest issue because government, I am forced by law to give you my money, which means that in some way, even if it's just a few cents, my taxes went to putting that pride flag up there. And I would rather my taxes go to burning that pride flag, but that's just me. Let's get into now organizations. And these ones are quite funny. Now we have organizations like baseball. For whatever reason, needs to celebrate people who like it taking it in the ass. So we get to like the Major League Baseball right here on Twitter. This is a Major League Baseball post on Twitter. Baseball is everyone's game. #pride. And maybe this is just their way of trying to make up for the fact that they have constantly losing ratings. But I think it's also important to point out that the team that won the World Series last year, I believe it was the Texas Rangers. Let me double check because I don't actually watch the MLB World Series 2023. I believe it was the Rangers, right? Yeah, it was the Rangers. Texas Rangers last year won the World Series. You want to know what else is interesting about the Texas Rangers? They are the only baseball team, the only out of all of them, out of every single team in the MLB, which there's kind of a lot of them. They're the only team that did not host a Pride Night. The Texas Rangers, the people that won, they won last year. The World Series did not host a Pride Night. Every other major league team hosted a Pride Night. And I think that is a slight of God in the fact that they did not host a Pride Night. Everyone else did, but the Rangers did not, and they won. It's God-given. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. But interestingly enough, MLB, while they're just unpopular pretty much all the way around, people have stopped watching the MLB significantly in recent years, and they even instituted a new rule to try to make games go faster because because they realized how bored people got with it. They're not the only ones, and it's interesting. One sport which is considered to be, and they actually host, I believe, the largest sporting event or the largest attended sporting event in America every year, the Indy 500, which has upwards of like 300,000 people attended. It just happened last weekend, 2 weekends ago. I think it was last weekend. Tell me in the comments. I'm sorry, I don't pay attention to that many sports, but it becomes necessary in this show sometimes. That's why I even talk about the Wonamuttaba, which is the women's NBA. But NASCAR even celebrates Pride, apparently. And I guess it makes sense when you're always turning left, you're not going to be right. Haha, but some people think that's funny. I do. But happy Pride. NASCAR is proud to support the LGBT community. Follow along with as we highlight stories of those who have impacted our sport. Congratulations. Gay people can drive too. I guess that's what it's. I don't know. I love you have some of the comments on these are hilarious. Like there's tire tracks on the pride flag. There's you have like all these, they're getting torn apart in the comments, which again is crazy. And I think this guy points it out well. NASCAR is pandering to the gay community. Like 1% of your audience is gay. You stupid idiots piss off the majority of your fan base by embracing the global homo agenda. A lot of people are waking up to this and they're realizing, hey, like this is getting annoying. We don't actually want to have all of this, pun intended, all of this gay crap shoved down our throat. So they stop. Some do. I haven't seen, actually, let's go check right now while we're live here. Let's see. Has Bud Light posted anything for Pride Month? They have not changed their logo. They got, is that Sean Strickland? Might be. I think that might be Sean Strickland. I don't know all my UFC people, which is going to be bad again, tear me in the comments. Don't know my sports that well. No, it's Dustin Poirier's. But anyways, he's a UFC guy. They have all this stuff about UFC. They are not talking about pride at all. Look, I'm not going to say that we all need to forgive Bud Light, but it's important to recognize they're not posting anything about pride anymore. Make these companies feel it. And one that makes me really sad because I always liked them, but it's Walmart. And I didn't have their link pulled up, but I have time tonight. So why don't we take a look at this? Is Walmart's pride thing that they had, and we're gonna look and listen at what Walmart had to say about pride.
Queer people have magic that we can share.
Queer people are magical. Oh my gosh, pick a card, any card. Must be the Joker.
Lucky enough to be in the Walmart Pride collection this year. Total dream come true.
It's not every day that I see my products in a Walmart.
It's important to me to share my art.
No one can make the art that you make.
That woman needs to lose weight.
No one can say the things the way you say them. There's a lot of opportunity to.
Born this gay. I would buy that for like some of my friends. I have my friend Josh who joins this show. Josh, hi. Josh, I'm going to get you this shirt because you were born that gay.
To uplift with a bit of playfulness and imperfection.
The world needs to hear what you have to say and your story.
That
Queer people have
some of the dumbest. You got the Freddie Mercury looking dude there. You got, I don't know, this one trying to look like Danny Zuko from Grease, which I know was in and of itself a gay reference, but calm down. I like girls. But then, okay, so we have all these companies and I get mad about it and I'll splay them on here. I'll make fun of them. But then there's some, and this is where I get really unhappy and where it becomes almost gross to me. Because here's the thing is, so Pride has done an amazing job of branding itself as like, oh, we're just like trying to be accepted. We just want our rights. We just want a right to get married, like blah, blah, blah. And like, oh, we're just all about the rainbow and we're just cute and we're just like a little quirky, a little queer, like blah, blah, blah. Yeah. That's what they've branded themselves as, to the point of which we like forget what they're actually celebrating, right? I actually think, and this is, I will admit, if you're watching right now and you have children around, maybe don't have them around because this gets a little vulgar. But there is a Norm Macdonald sketch in which he talks about being gay, and I gotta find it. Here it is. Okay, so it's like 2 minutes long, but we'll play it, and I might get kicked off for like copyright or something. But I think this is really funny, and this is where he talks about like pride parades. So Norm Macdonald, one of the funniest comedians of all time, would totally get canceled. Rest in peace, Norm. But like, take a look and listen at what Norm had to say about pride parades. And it reminds you about like what is actually being celebrated in Pride Month. Think about this. Once again, vulgarity warning in case you have children around. Let's look.
San Francisco famous for. Oh, guys sucking and fucking each other. Forgot about that. They're equally proud, by the way. They're just as proud as straight people. They're sucking and fucking. As a matter of fact, every year they're so proud they have a parade for it. It's called the Gay Pride Parade, and it's an odd thing to me because I'll tell you something. When I was a boy, you know, and I'm older than you fellers, but when I was 6 years of age, I remember my dad showing me on the television there was a parade because Neil Armstrong and the boys, why they had gone to the moon. Here man had touched the satellite that whirls around our whirling cinder, and then they came back. Now, they had a parade for them. My dad had me watching on his little Philco TV that he kept in the kitchen. And he said, I remember he said, watch this, son, you know. And Neil Armstrong and the boys were going down ticker tape, Fifth Avenue. It was like a very majestic moment. Now, this is how parades have, in my mind, devolved a little. Now, it's a bunch of guys who like sucking and fucking each other. Am I supposed to bring my kid on my shoulders? Hey, look at that. Enjoy your cotton candy. There's some more guys who like sucking and fucking each other.
The crazy thing is this has become, to some extent, reality. Like, this is almost like the way that Norm does this is just like how a Babylon Bee article works, because yeah, when he said it, it was like a joke, but now people actually do bring their children to watch public nudity in pride parades. And it's even funnier how he brings up, yeah, parades used to be for people who like did something. Parades used to be about like people touching the moon, walking on the moon, or like for John F. Kennedy. Oh, I probably shouldn't talk about that one, but for things. I mean, heck, we still do have parades for like Memorial Day, St. Patrick's Day, to celebrate a culture in some way. I mean, hey, I guess that one could be one that we do away with. And I'm Irish, and I would be like, okay, we can get rid of that one. But we still have parades for like, even a culture is more important than guys who like, as Norm Macdonald would say, I'm quoting him, sucking and fucking. Let's finish this out.
And they like doing it. I don't think you get a parade for something you like. Like, if they didn't like, maybe then I'd show up. You know what I mean? If it was like, I don't like it, but God damn it, I'll do it for my country. Then I go, son, that man's a patriot. He understands there's greater than the individual. There's.
Oh my gosh. No, Norm Macdonald was absolutely right in that. And that's what I wanted to remind everybody before we get to this major organization, company, whatever, or it's TV show that is advertising pride, that is celebrating pride. Once again, pride is about people who like to sleep with people. It's about sexuality. And then to some extent, those who have infiltrated, those who believe in genital mutilation and believing in something that is not, they have also made a point to become a part of pride. But once again, what is the point of celebrating all of that? Look, if you were simply celebrating the quote unquote strides that you've made, again, I disagree with them. I am not pro-gay marriage. But if that's what you were celebrating, you're celebrating the history of that, sure. But even still, having a full parade because of who, now at this point where you're at, having a full parade in which you're celebrating the sexuality of it, disgusting. Having a whole month in which you're just celebrating your sexual deviancy, your sodomy, disgusting. And so then that's why it's even more disgusting when you have a children's show like Sesame Street. Sesame Street. You have Sesame Street that is celebrating this on their Twitter, which again, no child is on Twitter talking about Sesame Street, but still, happy hashtag Pride Month from Sesame Street. Today and every day, we celebrate and uplift the LGBTQ IA+ members of our community. Together, let's build a world where every person and family feels loved and welcome for who they are. See, this is... I'm going to get really mad here for a second, everybody, because what really pisses me off about this is a few things. First off, is the obvious if this is a kid's show. Why does a kid in any way need to be talked to about any level of sexuality or like their gender theory bullcrap, anything like that? Again, even talking about heterosexuality is absolutely absurd. And so to indoctrinate children into a hedonistic lifestyle as is disgusting, and doing so through one of the most popular and timeless kids shows is honestly a mockery of what Jim Henson originally tried to do. However, I wouldn't be surprised if Jim Henson himself, because anybody who shoves their hand up an inanimate object and makes it talk, I would question their sexuality a little bit. But that said, I don't think this is what necessarily Jim Henson originally wanted for Sesame Street, is to be this thing that everybody goes on and talks about people who like sucking and fucking. I think that's a little odd. The second reason why this really infuriates me is because this is not, this totally, once again, negates negates the point of childhood. This is not what we need to be talking to children about, period. We are pushing this when what happened to the count? What happened to the count? Like, what is he going to start counting the amount of sexual crimes that happen at pride parades against children? Probably not if they're celebrating it here. No. Why do we need children looking at things like this? Why do we need children watching Sesame Street and having gay stuff shoved down their throat? I think that's most people's problem, but we do have a lot of people waking up. What do you guys think about Sesame Street? Sesame Street pushing the LGBT agenda. It's absolutely, in my opinion, it is absolutely absurd. We have more to talk about with Pride Month and groomers. Anybody who is trying to talk to children about sexuality in this way is in fact grooming them. And we're going to talk about that even more coming up soon in the next segment about Miss Rachel. Have you guys heard of Miss Rachel? She's a very popular kids YouTuber, and we're going to talk about her coming up soon. But I do want to take a quick break here so I can get everything set up for that. Do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends, all that fun stuff. We will be right back with more Speechless after this break. Hey, everybody, and welcome back. That was Freedom 2.0, of course, one of my great sponsors. I talked about them a little bit earlier, but also just a reminder to everybody to vote. Not only vote for Freedom 2.0, but also just vote in general. We're going to talk a little bit about the Trump trial and the aftermath of that coming up later in the show once we're done with some of the stuff, the intro to Pride Month that we got going on here. So make sure you guys stay tuned. But definitely go check out Freedom 2.0 because they support content creators like me, big and small, just people that are trying to talk about the truth. And once again, when we talk about the idea of truth, of course, there's things in this show that are my opinion. And I think it's pretty clear when I say that I think something that's different than when I say something that's an objective fact, but something that is that is my opinion, but pretty close to a fact, is the idea of if you are talking to children about sexuality, gender theory, anything like that, then you're in some way grooming them. Now, you might not yourself be looking to be the next Jeffrey Epstein or anything like that, but you could be grooming them into a life that they weren't necessarily a part of. I mean, there's a reason, and it's not because there was always just this many gay people. No, there's a reason why like 1 in 4 women in my generation identify as LGBT. And it's because because with the exposure to it, and also with the way society treats these people with kid gloves, as if they're all of them can do no wrong. That's the reason why we have almost an epidemic of LGBT. So we even have this coming from major YouTubers. And so there's a massive YouTuber, kids YouTuber, who's been making some headlines with conservatives recently. Her name is Miss Rachel, who invited Dylan Mulvaney, of course, the popular grifter, who's a man who pretends to be a woman for clout. Miss Rachel invited Dylan Mulvaney to appear on, quote, Songs for Little show, which is not a show I've heard of, but apparently is a real thing. Miss Rachel has nearly 10 million subscribers on YouTube. She broadcasts episodes in excess of an hour in length to keep little ones entertained, educated, and happy. Parents trust her, plopping their toddlers and children down before big screens and small for hours on end, blissful in the knowledge that they are safe in her virtual care. Yet this same YouTuber extended an invitation to Dylan Mulvaney back in 2023 for the trans, quote, Day of Girlhood star to appear on her show. Under a post for Mulvaney, Rachel said right here, sometime when you're in New York City, you should be on our show, Songs for Littles. We love you and you're singing. Miss Rachel is, of course, trying to expose your children to the absolute degeneracy that is the transgender ideology. And so we consider that. And then we even look, Miss Rachel, that's just, you might even just be saying, well, my kids love her. And like, she's not that bad. Like she just invited her. She actually hasn't been on, blah, blah, blah. You might say all that. But actually in 2023 and now again in 2024, Miss Rachel, this kid's YouTube star, again, excess of 10 million followers, makes videos like this to celebrate Pride Month. Take a look and a listen. Oh, it looks like I lost audio from my browser again. Give me one moment so I can get that back. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends, all that fun stuff. But now take a look and listen to Miss Rachel grooming children. Here we go.
Happy Pride to all of our wonderful families and friends. This month and every month I celebrate you. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're exactly who you are. To those who are going to comment they can't watch the show anymore because of the support, no worries and much love your way. God bless. I am not chasing fame or views. I'm standing strong in love.
Wait, so this is how I know her God bless was disingenuous, is because the first half is about pride and being gay and pandering. And then she goes on to say God bless, which is quite ironic. And she also says, I'm not chasing fame or views. If her views went to like dead zero or even drastically decreased to where she couldn't make almost any money off of it, or she had to get a job other than just creating content, I guarantee you, she would be like, oh, never mind. So if you have your kids watch this crap, and this woman who might actually have some good content, maybe try something else. Because she's pandering to an audience. Now, it's not her audience, or it might be, but it shouldn't be. If you are anybody who is making content for children, should not be endorsing this kind of discussion of sexuality. It's not only unnecessary, it's just, I would ask anybody, if I could talk to Miss Rachel, if I could talk to her right now, my question for her is, why should kids know, and why do they need to be quote unquote educated on the entire idea of having sex with a person of the same sex? Or if you get into the trans crap, why should they be educated on genital mutilation? Why do 6-year-olds need to know about that? Because there's only one answer that is appropriate, and that's they don't. They shouldn't be. But that's Miss Rachel. So everybody go boycott Miss Rachel on YouTube. I'm doubting, if you're watching my show, that you probably watch Miss Rachel, but maybe you have a family that does or something. I don't know what you do in your free time. But that's not the only thing that I think is really funny about Pride Month. Again, we're going to have a lot of different stories because Pride parades are going to constantly happen. And I think it's really interesting to talk about what actually happens at these. Maybe I'll even go to one. How funny would it be for me to go to a Pride parade? I might go to a Pride. Maybe I go to a Pride parade this year. Maybe I just turn gay. Who knows? My girlfriend's watching. Honey, I guess I might be going to a Pride parade, which would just make me gay. So we'll see. But I'm joking. But there was a Pride parade in Philadelphia today, and it just showed how the left is going to lose this year, period. And it's because of things like this. Pro-Palestinian protesters blocked a Pride parade from happening in Philadelphia. Take a look and listen to this clip. Can we also just talk? I know that a lot of this is about like the Pride and the Palestine people and they're eating their own. But can we just also talk about like how like by choice unattractive all these people are? Like look at some of these people. Let's look at some of this. So you have this one, which I can't even tell what the heck that is, but like go work out a little bit. You have this man who is in like a loose corset. If whatever that is, yeah, the jean shorts there too, and like the balding, receding hairline. You have like whatever that hair is. That's weird, unnatural. And then you have this thing. Oh my god, it's like the flipping Joker just comes out at you. The Joker is just like, oh my god, that thing looks right into the camera. I don't know if you guys can see it as well as I can on my screen, but if I make it full screen right here, you have this like clown thing looking right there into your soul, about to like kill you. And it's terrifying. It is terrifying. Look right into the camera. Just like, I don't know. It's like the Pennywise or some crap. I don't know what's happened with the camera there, but it's just crazy to me. It is crazy to me how, so the left is eating their own with the Palestine protesters and the gay protesters, and they're just, I don't know. It looks like maybe some of them tried to join forces, which is just absolutely hilarious because I want you to try to go to the area that's known as quote unquote Palestine, which actually isn't a country, doesn't actually own its own real territory. But Palestine, try to go to Palestine and be so out and queer and just be so, oh my God, be so gay, blah, blah, blah. Figure that out. Try it. See what happens. I'd love to see what happens. Actually, I wouldn't love to see what happens, I'll admit, but try it. If you're really that passionate about it, about being both gay and pro-Palestine, figure it out. But no, this is how I know the left is going to lose in 2024 because in this election cycle is because they have these two major issues to them: Pride and LGBT stuff, and Pride, which is the LGBT stuff, and Palestine, and they're directly conflicting issues. But that was just today, and we're going to talk a lot more about what is going on with Pride all this month. So make sure you guys don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends, all that fun stuff. But like I said, the Democratic Party is divided, and they get really into tangents about issues that don't even resonate with the average American. I mean, the average American isn't really necessarily caring about gay rights or not even necessarily gay rights. They don't want gay stuff being pushed at their children. They think that it's gone too far. Many were okay with the idea of, oh yeah, just let them get married, whatever. But now it's gone to a point, not only do you have to let them get married, you have to force that entire ideology onto children, which people don't really like by and large. So now you have people that are moderate Democrats that are deciding to leave the party. In fact, just today, Joe Manchin has announced that he will be leaving the Democratic Party. Right here out of the Daily Wire, Joe Manchin leaves the Democratic Party. Says it pretty clearly. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin announced Friday, it was just not today, 2 days ago, that he had left the Democratic Party and had registered as an independent. Manchin cited, quote, partisan extremism from both the Democrats and Republicans as the primary reason for his decision to register as an independent, claiming both parties had left West Virginia and our country behind. From my first day in public service, we can look right here. My commitment to do everything I can to bring our country together has led me to register as independent with no party affiliation. And there's a lot of people that feel like this. Look, I am a conservative. I consider myself mostly a Republican. There are things I disagree with the Republican Party on, but mostly I am a Republican. But there's a lot of people that feel just like Joe Manchin, where they're much more moderate than I, and they believe that some of the rhetoric out of the Republican Party sounds too extreme, and they feel like everything out of the Democratic Party, not only the rhetoric, but also their policy and everything is also too extreme. And so they feel politically homeless. The increase of political homelessness has been insane, especially since the Trump years. And it's because the way that the left framed Trump made people believe he was a lot more extreme than he really was. While at the same time, Obama normalized a significant amount of extremism that people are just now starting to wake up and realize, hey, maybe that is a little too far. Maybe that isn't good policy, and they're noticing it under Joe Biden because Joe Biden can't speak the same way Obama did. Obama had a way of serving you shit on a silver platter and you eating it up because you were like, oh my God, he speaks so nice and he seems so normal. He's the kind of guy I'd like to get a beer with. Yeah, people thought like that. Joe Biden is the kind of guy where you're like, oh my God, is he about to die like in front of me? Like, is he okay? Did he just shit his pants? Like, oh my God, like that's how people see Joe Biden. And so he cannot sell everything the way that Barack Obama could. And so it's the same crap. Like, if you really think about it, for the most part, yeah, there's some changes. Like, Obama wasn't really for gay marriage in the beginning. He was, and then he ended up pushing it through. He got it, and then he claimed it as his big victory through Ogre Biefeld through the Supreme Court. And so he claimed all that. But overall, Obama is pretty much the same as Joe Biden. Obama just was better at messaging, and he sold better. And they also had the gag and ball and chain for the Republican Party at the time, where they could just say, if you disagree with him, you're a racist because he's black. And then you had a lot of spineless Republicans who were in office who were like, well, I don't want people to think I'm racist. I don't want people to think I'm racist. They're going to call me racist. And then, oh, look at him now. No matter what, you're a racist. You're a racist simply for being a Republican. Should have grown a spine back then. Paul Ryan, Mitt Romney, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger. Oh, but where are they now? If we did a where are they now of the people that were the most spineless back in 2012, not really in government. And if they are, they're on the outs. They're on the outs. But then we consider that. We consider Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin is not the only one. Yes, he's probably one of the biggest names, but there was even this one who her name is a Democratic senator from California. So she's a California Democratic state senator, Susan Eggman. And she went on a rant on the House floor on their Senate floor in California about why she is basically leaving the party. And it has to do with the pride agenda. And this is what I'm saying is Democrats have come off as so extreme on some of their issues. And that's why they should consistently be losing, and they are. And here's another example of that. Susan Eggman of the California State House or State Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. I'd like to say, as a progressive, proud member of this body for the last 12 years, I'm done. I'm done with us protecting people who would buy and abuse our children. I'm done. I don't want to send more black and brown men to prison. I don't want more people in prison, but I don't want people buying girls. I don't want people buying little girls anymore. And I'm tired of saying it's okay and that we have to protect the men who do it. As a mental health professional and as a social worker, I can tell you I've spent my entire career working with people who have been wounded. I'm not going to say beyond repair, but they have been wounded to their core by the abuse that's been heaped on them, oftentimes by those that they love and look to protect them. And if their parents won't do it, then by God, we should.
Yeah. And so she's leaving because, and it seems to have to do a lot more sex trafficking, but how is that too much different than the grooming that happens through the Legibiticas? And not all of the Legibiticas, but the Pride Legibiticas. And if you don't know what I mean, if you're new to the show and you don't know what I mean by Legibitica, LGBTQ, IA2 plus ABCDG, LMNOP, blah, blah, blah. That's what I mean by Legibiticas. But people are leaving the Democratic Party in droves because they are realizing that it's insane. And you have a Democratic congressman who has come out and basically called on another Democrat. Now he's still a Democrat, but a Democratic congressman who calls on Kathy Hochul, the New York governor, to pardon Trump. And this is where we get into, just in case you guys were wondering, this is called a transition. I'm transitioning from the issue of Democrats leaving to now we're talking about what is going on with the Trump trial. Well, obviously Trump has become the first president in history, former president, to be convicted of a felony in an absolutely sham trial in a kangaroo court that was doomed from the beginning, with a corrupt judge and a jury that was bound to be favorable against him. Now we have people that are realizing that this is not people on the Democrat side that are realizing that there's maybe some problems with this. Democratic congressman calls on Kathy Hochul to pardon Trump, worries a conviction will result in an electoral boost. Out of the Daily Wire, Rep. Dean Phillips from Minnesota has called on New York Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul to pardon former President Trump following his conviction in Manhattan in the Manhattan hush money trial. Phillips, who ran for president in the Democratic primary and was blown out by Joe Biden, argued that Trump's guilty verdict will only energize the Republican candidate's base ahead of the 2024 election. So that's the funny thing, is he's not coming out and saying like, hey, this is a really bad look for our democracy and for our justice system, and people are going to lose faith. No, he's coming out and he's like, we're going to lose. I'm scared. That's the funniest part of it. It's not about a system. It's not about actually like caring about what the implications are of any of this. No. It's about losing. Because the trial in and of itself, and that's the fun, like people, I'll laugh at it here, but the whole point I'm trying to make is that the trial in itself wasn't about justice. The trial in and of itself was not about about no one is above the law, as they will claim. No, the trial was about having a man and finding a crime. And even if there wasn't one, we're going to make it look like there was. But it backfired, and they're realizing it. And so then you have the Democratic congressman who still slams Trump as a serial liar, cheater, philanderer, a 6-time declarer of corrupt bankruptcy, and an instigator of insurrection, and a convicted felon. He argued on Friday that Hochul should pardon Trump for the good of the country. He's blasted after Phillips was blasted on calling on Hochul to pardon the convicted Republican candidate. He doubled down as an argument in a tweet Saturday morning, just yesterday, saying, "You think pardoning is stupid? Making him a martyr over a payment to a porn star is stupid. Election charges are entirely different," he wrote. It's energizing his base, generating record sums of campaign cash, and will likely result in an electoral boost. It has, at least by the polls. Hochul applauded the conviction of Trump, telling NPR justice was served. She added that she doesn't believe the felony conviction is going to be a factor in the election for our congressional candidates. In the immediate aftermath of Trump's conviction, donations poured in, and that's what I want to talk about next. We don't even need to look at just this article for it. We could even just discuss this article out of the Post Millennial, which is breaking, just happened just a few hours ago before I started this show. Breaking: Trump campaign has raised $200 million since his New York City conviction. Out of the $200 million, 70 million donations were raised from small donor donations. So the Trump campaign has raised more than $200 million since President Donald Trump was found guilty by a Manhattan jury in DA Alvin Bragg's falsified business records case on Thursday, according to Trump's son, Eric Trump. And so we can actually take a look and listen to what Eric Trump had to say about this right here from this video from the Post Millennial on Twitter. Let's take a look right here. It would seem as though there is not currently sound, so let me, this keeps happening. This is what happens. I produce my own show, everybody. If you're interested in supporting the show, I really appreciate it. Either send a super chat on YouTube of some kind, Venmo, Cash App. This can help me so that I can bring on a different producer occasionally, and also upgrade my equipment so that I can go faster and do a lot of things at once. I'd really appreciate it. Please consider supporting the show through any of those means. While I was able to kind of plug that a little bit, I got the volume right back. So take a look and listen to Eric Trump talking about the gains that the Trump campaign has had.
This might be a little inside information, but as I was leaving my house about 37 seconds ago, I asked my wife, what are we up to now?
And she said, just in terms of small dollar, we're well over $70 million. This is $21 donations, $43 donations, right? Small dollar donations. If you add the large dollar donations to it, you're over 200 million, but you're over $70 million. And by the way, Maria, 30% of those people have never been seen before by a political party, right? I mean, these are Americans who are pissed off. They're coming out of the woodwork and they want to support a guy that they just believe is getting bamboozled by a system. And we saw it with impeachment 1. We saw it with impeachment 2. We see it where they weaponize every liberal DA and AG across the country with one intent to take him down, to slander him, to ruin his reputation, to try and divide his family, to try and bankrupt him, to throw him in jail, to do whatever the hell they can do. And America sees through it. They know exactly what's going on.
Look, I got to admit, I don't love Eric Trump's voice, but everything he said I did like, because once again, like he said, 70 million small dollar donations. People that are donating under $100 or maybe just 100 or a few hundred at most, equating to 70 million. We have people that are, like he said, coming out of the woodwork because of these. And so while I don't love everything that the Democratic congressman has to say, he's got a point. He's got a point. The Democrats, Dean Phillips is realizing what the left and what the Democrats have walked themselves into. The hornet's nest that they've shaken. The bear they've awoken. And now they're going to deal with the consequences. And assuming Republicans don't snatch defeat from the jaws of victory as they usually do, they're going to feel them hard. Because Trump's popularity has grown so much. We even see it last night at a UFC fight. At UFC 302, this is in New Jersey. Just remember a few weeks ago when Trump had the massive rally, the record-breaking rally in New Jersey? Yeah, well, this is a UFC fight in New Jersey right here. Take a look and listen to this short clip of everybody. They have a flag up for him, and then listen to the introduction.
Mercedes Lewis also in the building. Former President Donald Trump. Mercedes Lewis also in the
he got a standing ovation walking in. You have Theo Vaughn in the background, who's absolutely hilarious. Dana White right next to him. Watch once again.
Building. Former President Donald Trump.
Multiple. I know Sean Strickland shouted him out during the fight. I know that other fighters came up and gave him high fives, shook his hand, everything. Donald Trump is a cultural icon. And the thing is this felony conviction, so many people are waking up and realizing, hey, this seems wrong. This seems problematic. And they might not everybody is necessarily going, oh my God, I love Trump. I love Trump. I love Trump. A lot are, and a lot are even donating to his campaign. But you have people that are starting to question and saying, this seems odd. And you want to know why? Is because there is a soft bigotry of low expectations that the Democrats have. And they show it all the time. And they have it through things like affirmative action. Affirmative action is soft bigotry of low expectations. It's this idea. Or even Kathy Hochul kind of comes out when she says the quiet part out loud and says that black people don't know how to use computers. That's a soft bigotry. I mean, that's a blatant bigotry. That one's not really soft, but that's a blatant bigotry that exemplifies the soft bigotry of low expectations. And really, the entire idea of these Trump trials is, in a way, a soft bigotry of low expectations, in a way that they're trying to say that you Americans are too stupid to realize that we're doing all this. We think that you're just going to eat it up and buy it. And there are some people that are that stupid, that they're just sitting there and they're like, convicted felon. Everybody, we just need to tell everybody that he's a convicted felon. Yeah, well, you want to know the crazy thing? A lot of conservatives like myself blast popular culture for exalting and glorifying convicted felons. Rappers, football players, so many people in pop culture, convicted felons. something about it to some people is very, very attractive. If even in the slightest way of like, it's an I can't look away kind of thing. And that's what you guys just did. You want to know why rappers come out in droves for Trump? Because they feel, even some of them who like actually did bad things, who did things that were worth going to jail for, they believe that their convictions, that the way they were treated in court was as if they were being played by the system. Trump is being played by the system. They see that and they identify with it. And so then you have people that like those rappers, they listen to them, they care what they say, and they, for some reason, base their opinion off of them. And man, they get it. They get it. People are not as stupid. And while I disagree with the idea of and I do think it's not necessarily intelligent to base your opinions on what a rapper says, it would be even stupider to not recognize, it would be even less intelligent, because I said stupid, more stupid, be less intelligent to believe that there is no political animosity that dictates the indictments and conviction of Donald Trump. And that is why so many people are coming out in droves for the man. And it's beautiful. But what do you guys think? Should they be? Are people too enamored with this? Do they care too much? Am I wrong? Am I stupid? Maybe. Let me know in the comments. I'm curious what you guys think. I do have one more thing I want to talk about on the show today. If there's anything else you guys ever want me to talk about, react to, think about anything, feel free to give me an email, speechlesskp@gmail.com. I know I have at least one pending email right now from somebody that I will be responding to soon. But if there's anything, like even a video that you want me to react to, just send me the link and be like, please react to this, and I will. So please don't hesitate to email me. You can contact me directly. I mean, you can always leave a comment. I'm always interested in what you guys have to say in the comment section. Always do that. Just like Jim here who did, and I love that. And I saw Andrea earlier. I hope you're still here, Andrea. I love that. Thank you guys for joining. But please leave me a comment. And then, like I said, you can always email me, speechlesskp@gmail.com. I do have, like I said, something to react to next, because I know that we've talked about a lot of things. Yes, the Trump stuff is hopeful, but we talked about all the groomers, the pride stuff. We talked about Caitlin Clark and all that controversy. But I have something that I think might be a little bit more hopeful, something I haven't even watched yet that I'm very interested in watching, to react to, coming up here soon on Speechless after this break.
Blah, 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 blah. What are you talking about? Here, have some Freedom 2.0. Now, the Constitution is awesome. That's what it is.
Of course, check out Freedom 2.0. I would appreciate it. I would appreciate if you guys check out Freedom 2.0. Maybe order some. Always drink more water. You could always be drinking more water. I've been drinking a lot of Freedom 2.0 recently. It's summer. It gets hot. It's good. Make sure you guys check out Freedom 2.0 on their website, freedom20.com/USA. And you can also use code BREAKAWAY at checkout for 15% off. So please do that. Happy Sunday. Listen to 50 Cent. Thank you guys so much for joining. But let's get on into this reaction here. This is something I've been wanting to react to for a while. I don't really have that much of a lead up for it. There's a lot of times Hollywood is incredibly woke recently. But there are some things that still give me hope for good entertainment, wholesome entertainment, non-woke entertainment, and even some ways anti-woke entertainment. And this is a perfect example of that. Here is the trailer, and I haven't watched this trailer yet. Let's talk about it here. Reagan, the biopic about Ronald Reagan's life. Let's react to this together.
Welcome to your life.
There's nothing a retired governor can do, but a president
Now he can do a thing or two.
Everybody wants to rule the world.
I will be frank with you that as a citizen, I would not like to see any political party outlawed on the basis of its ideology, because I still believe, Mr. Chairman, that democracy can handle it.
I was a brand new KGB officer, given my first intelligence assignment. A certain actor and union leader.
Dutch, there's a purpose for your life.
You can run from a bully for so long, but after a while, you're going to have to stand up to him.
There's about to be another war right here in Hollywood. The commies on one side, the mob on the other. And you're right in the middle, son.
If you put as much work into your career as you do making your speeches, you'd have an Oscar by now.
I'm not even kidding you. I just got chills from watching. We're a minute into this. I have real chills. This is one of the first times I've watched a movie trailer in a long time where I am so excited to see this. I'm so excited already. And there's more, but to have something, and look, I don't need a movie to be blatantly anti-communism. However, when we have so many movies that are so blatantly pro-communism, it feels really good to see one where somebody's going, those darn commies, right in it, right? Right?
Hello, I'm Nancy Davis.
Hello, Nancy Davis. I'm Ron Reagan.
I'm curious, Ron. What would you say is the issue of our time?
No question about it. Communism and the Soviet Union.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! And I'm sorry if I just broke your eardrums with that, but I need to play that one more time. That was beautiful. It was beautiful. Beautiful. I love that.
Is the issue of our time.
No question about it. Communism and the Soviet Union.
Darn
Get in
right.
the game. Run for office.
It's you.
I'm running for governor and I would like your vote.
I forgot your name. Do his initials help or are? Honey, Roy Rogers is here. And he's running for governor.
Ronnie, remember when we met? You told me that you wanted to make a difference in this world. You know what you have to do.
Governor Reagan again, typically, is against such a proposal.
There you go again.
But he was not afraid to take us on.
There's nothing a retired governor can do about the Soviets, but a president. Now he can do a thing or two.
Welcome to your life.
I was a lifeguard on a river,
There's no turning back.
and I learned how to read the currents. Not just the ones on the surface, but also the ones deep underneath the water. I am about to start the biggest war of this century, and I'm not going to fire a single shot.
You're gonna blow up 8 years of diplomacy.
Well, if you think that got their undies in a wad, you just wait.
What did the president know, and when did he know it?
What would you have me do?
I want you to fight.
Everybody wants to. Everybody.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Wants to rule the world.
That is, I'm not even kidding you. Like I just said, I have absolute chills running down my spine right now. I am so excited for this movie. It is so amazing to see a film that is not going to push any level, or at least from what I understand, it isn't going to push a major political agenda down my throat. It's not going to necessarily be a movie that is pushing just republicanism. It's going to tell the life of Ronald Reagan. It's going to tell it, and it's not going to say that he's an absolutely terrible. It's going to objectively tell the life of Ronald Reagan. At least that's the way that I see it right now. And it's going to bash communism, which communism objectively, not even when I say it's not going to push a political agenda down my throat, bashing communism is not in and of itself a political agenda. Because every single time that communism in some way has shown and reared its ugly head, it has been just that, an ugly head. So I am so excited for Reagan. I think it looks like an absolutely amazing movie. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I am going to go see this very quickly after it comes out. That was, oh my gosh. Like I said, had not watched that before. So many iconic moments that they bring up, like Mr. Gorbachev Mr. Gorbachev tear down that wall. His meeting of Nancy, it even seems to show that maybe at some point during the film, they will break down the idea of what a supportive relationship they had together, maybe traditional relationship as well, and seem to focus on solid themes and values of which much has been lost in Hollywood. So this will be a beautiful film. So excited to see it. And like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comments, because I think it'll be a lot of fun. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends, all that fun stuff. Let's get to some of these comments here now. I'm wanting to watch it for sure. Jim, absolutely. Jim got his chores done and he's relaxing now. I couldn't picture it, but after seeing it, he does a good Reagan. Yeah, Dennis Quaid is playing Reagan. It looks like it's going to be a great movie. 1 ounce of water for every pound of body weight with Freedom 2.0. You can do that. Go order yours today. It's on Amazon too. If you guys want to do it, Freedom 2.0. Go get some, and say that Kev sent you. If they ever let you, I mean, you can use code breakaway at checkout. Do that. But you can also say Kev sent you. I can even send you freedom20.com/USA. I think that's it. Yeah, you guys can use this code. freedom20.com/USA. You guys use this and you can go get your Freedom 2.0 today. I would appreciate it. I seem to have some troll in my comments saying that I should come out because it's obvious. Yeah, I have a problem. Leviticus 18:22. Read it, Josh. Leviticus 18:22. You're silly. You're silly. You're a silly man, Josh. Josh is a silly man. He's a silly man. Well, that's all content I had for today. That's an hour and 22 for so far. As always, if you guys want me to go a little bit longer or anything, you guys can send a super chat. Let me know what you want me to talk about. And I'll blind react to just about anything at any time. What shall I do? Well, everybody, don't forget, once again, as I said, even the trolls, like this video, subscribe to the channel. If you're a troll, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Come on, talk to me. Talk to me. Let me know what you have to say. And if you come on, and if you are, stop hiding behind God. This is a crazy thing. Stop hiding behind God. I'll engage you for a little bit. Josh, that is your real name. I have a friend named Josh. I tell him he's gay all the time. But stop hiding behind God. No. Okay, here's the thing. Even if it's not God, even if you are a secular idiot or an atheist, which is also just as idiotic, there is one natural way in which humans reproduce. That is a biological man and a biological woman coming together to reproduce. So, unless you believe that humans should go towards extinction, should go and just be done, then you would want to advocate for the idea and recognize that it is also the biological demand that man and woman come together. And then I get things like this. What if a woman can't reproduce? Is she not cat then? Look, there are going to be women that have biological anomalies that make it so they can't reproduce. That's not to say that they don't count, but it is a biological anomaly. A woman who can't reproduce is different than two men trying to go at it again and again and again. Look, a woman who can't reproduce, if you try 100 times and she wants to, there could be an instance in which maybe there is a chance. There is zero chance of two biological men ever having a child. And then here's how you know that I'm right, is because then we get to let the gays be happy. Love is love. Who are you to judge? Sure. Go perform your hedonistic sex acts. Go do that. But don't put it in my public schools. Don't use taxpayer funding to talk about it. Don't bring it into a public space. Just as much as, look, a pride parade, if you're going to whip your dick out on Wacker in Chicago or Michigan Street in Chicago, I don't remember exactly where their pride parade is, but if you're going to whip your dick out, I don't care if you're gay or straight or whatever. That's disgusting. And I will judge you for that. And you should be locked and put behind bars. Anybody who does it. However, if it's a pride parade and you're just a little queer, then it's okay. See, this is how you know, Josh, you came on with some of the most flimsy arguments. And I'll invite you, Josh, you can email me. Speechless KP, and we can talk about this. And I'll bring you onto the show. And you can get as angry at me as you want. I don't care. I'll bring you onto the show. And we can have a conversation. Email me. I'll set it up. But, like, gloves off. Okay? Like, bro, I am 16 and I have a boyfriend and I am gay and proud of my parents and friends accept me for 20. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Go for it. But, like, if you need my validation, then are you really comfortable? If you need my validation, look, I make YouTube videos. I have fun going live. I talk to amazing people like Andrea, who just did a super chat, and I'll bring it up soon, but I want to get to a point here. But Josh, if you need my validation, I'm not that big of a deal. I'm not. I'm an activist. I talk about what I believe in. I host a radio show, and I air a lot of this. But it's a small radio show in Central Illinois. I'm realistic with myself. But you need my validation. I mean, you're obviously begging for it in my comment section. Josh is begging for my validation. He needs it. He's begging for my validation. Why? Because he knows deep down, that he's not living a moral lifestyle. And Josh, I'm praying for you, man. I hope you find Jesus, and I hope you realize that that's not the way to live. And if you're comfortable with it, more power to you. I will not be the ultimate judge. I will not. But you'll meet him. And we'll find out who's right and who's wrong. Andrew, I find it hysterical. The left is okay using women as breeders for the LGBTQ community, but a woman wanting to have a baby is wrong. Absolutely. Women need to be strong, independent women. Until a man who marries another man wants to have a child. This is another really, really smart thing to say. Andrea's right. Josh, do your family and friends really accept you? Or is it them just being nice to you, not to hurt you? For real. Josh, I have no hate in my heart for you. I want you to know that. Seriously, I don't hate somebody because they're gay. What I hate is that people act like it's absolutely normal, when biologically we are told it's not. So what do you think I should do then? Be single and alone forever because I can't help who I'm attracted to? No. Pray on it. Dedicate your life to, or at least part of it, to learning more about it and learning more about why you have these urges. Talk to God about it. Read about it. Think about an alternate perspective. I consider the perspective. I understand the idea of maybe it is it's an attractive urge, but if you live your entire life in that, it's not only sinful, it is also it's also against the entire idea of the human race. Like I could take God out of it. Like you can take God out of it. You shouldn't take God out of things, but you can, and you could recognize that it's biologically. It is not what nature calls for. It simply isn't. Josh, if you want to keep having this conversation, which I would love to have you on the show. We can have this conversation, but email me, okay? Speechlesskp@gmail. I'll invite anybody. If you have a reasonable reason to come on the show, email me, speechlesskp@gmail.com. We'll have a conversation, and I'll be respectful. I just want to have that conversation face to face instead of just keep bringing up your comments and everything like that. Come on the show and we'll have this conversation, okay? Speechlesskp@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. I'll be nice. I'm a pretty nice guy. I know I can come off as angry and rough around the edges, but some people tell me I'm a good person. So come on the show. I'll talk to you. We'll have a serious conversation. Maybe you'll change my mind. I try to keep an open mind. And I'm more likely to have an open mind when we're talking face to face. So email me, speechlesskp@gmail.com. This show is for everybody. But everybody, that is the show for tonight. I hope you guys had a fun time. Pride Month is obviously, we still have about 29 more days of Pride Month. Some change. But so we got a lot to talk about. Josh, we'll have you on. Let's talk about it. Bring you on. All right, everybody. I hope you guys had fun this week. And as always, no matter who you are, whether you disagree with this show, disagree with me, I think about you guys. And I appreciate you watching. And I appreciate you taking the time to expand your mind and think about things outside of just what the mainstream media or what these big names will tell you. I'm not anything special. I'm a person who has a cheap microphone, a cheap camera, and got lucky enough to get a radio show in college. And yeah, I put in a little extra work. But this show isn't about me. It's about having these conversations. Talk about other things. We'll talk about a lot of different things. And I love having you guys watch, listen, and interact. So thank you for commenting, everybody who did. Even Josh, thank you. And in the meantime, everybody, God bless you. God bless America. Ring that notification bell. Hit it to all because ScrewTube doesn't want you hearing what I have to say. And you've been watching Speechless. I'm your host, Kev Ferris.